Hello there, a warm welcome to Tech Trends, your weekly journey into the world of tech, innovation and creativity all through an African lens. On the program this week, Habaripay Squad, a payment fintech subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, holds its annual social coding competition, Squad Hackathon 2.0. Also on the program, we feature this year's Commonwealth Day celebration at the University of Lagos, which focused on AI, youth, and the future of work. And then later, Ito Idofia, a product designer at MyEdited, will be talking about how startups can identify and address real-world challenges. We have much more coming up for you on the program. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Olayemi Oshidende. The number one benefit of information technology is that it empowers people to do what they want to do. It lets people be creative. It lets people be productive. It lets people learn things they didn't think they could learn before. And so in a sense, it is all about potential. Habaripay Squad, a payment fintech subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, has held its annual social coding competition, Squad Hackathon 2.0. Tagged Finclusion Hackathon, Unlocking Access, Empowering Communities, the three-day event aimed to spotlight how emerging tech talents can use technology to address real-world challenges that limit access to financial services in underserved communities.
Innovation, technology, and financial inclusion take center stage as Habaripay Squad Hackathon 2.0 themed Finclusion Revolution brings together some of Nigeria's brightest young tech talents.
Alright, so basically what we wanted to show you was
Organized by Habaripay Limited, the fintech subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC, JITCO. This year's competition builds on the success of its inaugural edition, challenging young innovators to create scalable digital solutions that promote financial inclusion and solve real-world problems. Over 4 days, 65 students from tertiary institutions across the country collaborated, leveraging Squad's advanced APIs to develop apps that unlock financial access and empower communities. Among the standout innovations were Splitwise, an expense-sharing app designed for students and young professionals; Housify, a platform easing rent payments and simplifying estate agents' interactions; Talk and Pay, a solution designed to assist the visually impaired.
I think for me there will be two key takeaways. Looking at what we achieved last year, I think the biggest thing is being able to give back to students at that level, to give them a platform to dream, to take those dreams and actually create things that are useful and can solve problems that all of us encounter day to day, to take those ideas and bring them to life. I think looking back at the students who were part of the program last year, I've seen them with increased confidence. I've seen them begin to do things that maybe they thought weren't possible before, but today they see the possibilities. When I look at the ideas that I've heard today, sometimes I wonder what I was doing in school at that time. So I'm hearing voice biometrics, I'm hearing artificial intelligence, I'm seeing people building things with drones, and it's incredible that we have that kind of talent on the continent and that we can support it.
For many of these young innovators, the experience was a game changer.
Of course, you made a plan that this month I'm just going to spend, I'm just going to spend 5K on so and so thing, and I'm not going to borrow anybody money, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. But all of a sudden, you are looking at your account balance and the money is not adding up. These are splits that you created recently, or you transferred to recently, or you transferred from.
So what we presented is an innovative solution called Splitwise. And what this solution does is that it helps auto-budgeting and it helps in creating of crowdfunding in one. All of this is all in one, and it's a mobile web-based app and user-friendly. And what we actually tend to achieve with this is to create solutions for as many as students out there that needs to know how to budget their money and all. Everybody, businesswomen, businessmen, investors, presidential people, everybody, wherever they are, they will know how to auto-budget and spend their money wisely. That's it.
Okay, we're building a platform that solves the problem almost every Nigerian is facing. Finding affordable and verified rental space in Nigeria without paying exorbitant agent fees. It's very difficult, and it takes a lot of time to find house in Nigeria without paying almost double the rent itself to an agent. So a platform where we can connect you directly to the landlord. No agents, you pay through the app, you manage your transactions through the app, no hidden fees, no nothing. Very seamless.
Our solution is a fintech app for visually impaired persons in Nigeria. So our app allows visually impaired persons to send and receive money and buy utilities, and we also have plans of expanding to other fintech solutions that exist in the market.
The experience is very massive, as is an opportunity for us to showcase our talents to the whole world, because this is not just within Nigeria alone. And also, apart from that, it's an opportunity to network with people of like-minded peers like us, and also to learn from our mentors.
Beyond the competition, Habaripay Squad Hackathon 2.0 is about learning, collaboration, turning ideas into reality, and equipping the next generation of tech leaders with the tools to shape a more inclusive digital economy.
We're really looking to expand.
With opportunities for mentorship, networking, and possible investment, Finclusion Revolution is a movement toward a future where everyone, regardless of background or ability, has access to financial opportunities.
As artificial intelligence continues to reshape industries and economies, young people are being encouraged to embrace AI as a vital tool for enhancing creativity, innovation, and economic growth. Well, that was the central theme at this year's Commonwealth Day celebration, which focused on AI, youth, and the future of work.
To do all these three things. Number one, education, AI education.
As technology evolves, the ability to understand and leverage artificial intelligence is becoming an essential skill for everyone.
Of the EU AI Act really soon.
But beyond the hype, the real question is, how do young people actively prepare for this future? That was the focus of this year's Commonwealth Day celebration at the University of Lagos, where students, industry leaders and policymakers gathered to discuss AI, youth, and the future of work.
Artificial intelligence is not a trend. It is the foundation of the future. It is transforming sectors from finance to healthcare, from agriculture to creative industries. It is eliminating outdated job roles while creating new ones. And it is demanding that we rethink education, skills, and workforce readiness. But here's the truth. AI will not replace people. People who understand AI will replace who don't. Through the Commonwealth AI Academy, young people across the Commonwealth, including you in this room today, would have the opportunity to access fully funded AI education and skill training and digital skill training. This initiative is a game changer. It means that AI education is no longer a privilege, it is a right available to you.
But understanding AI isn't just about learning how it works. It's about using it responsibly.
Where do we go from here? We can start by exploring existing AI tools that have been mentioned in this room, conducting research to understand how they function and how they impact different sectors. The fundamental knowledge would always allow us to engage critically with AI developers and advocate for responsible usage. We must invest in digital literacy, ensuring that young people understand not just how it works, but how it can work responsibly. We must push for responsible AI policies, holding tech companies accountable for ethical practices. We must foster AI innovation to prioritize humanity, startups, projects, and research that ensure AI benefits all and not just a few.
Africa has some of the brightest minds in tech and innovation, but without AI education and proper mentorship, many may be left behind. So how do we ensure young people are not just consumers of AI, but active participants in shaping its future?
Will you live there inspired or unchanged? Will you watch the world move forward and tell yourself, AI isn't for me? Or will you make today a moment you take action? Because let me tell you this, the future isn't waiting for anyone. The Commonwealth AI Academy isn't just another program, it's a golden ticket. A fully funded opportunity to gain skills that will redefine the future of work. And guess what? It is available for you. It is available to you right now. You need to take action.
Together we thrive is not just a catchy phrase, it's a blueprint for the future. The world is changing, and at a speed we have never seen before. And in this age of artificial intelligence, young people cannot afford to be left behind. And that is why the Commonwealth actually launched the AI Academy, and it is to ensure that young people are not just consumers of AI. They are creators, they are innovators, and they are decision makers in that space.
Young people are embracing AI not just as a tool, but as a pathway to opportunities, inclusion, and across the Commonwealth, over 300 youth-led events are pushing the agenda forward, ensuring young people are not just users of AI, but innovators, creators, and decision makers.
Caroline Olang is cooking in her home with a homemade solar oven, a compact, insulated box that traps the heat without smoke or flames. Using simple materials like timber, aluminum foil, and repurposed blankets is leading a quiet but impactful shift in how our community cooks with the solar ovens that harnesses sunlight to prepare meals.
A solar-powered oven is simply a device that makes us stop using firewood, charcoal, and fossil fuel. Instead, we use solar, that is renewable energy, and we use it for cooking.
The oven helps reduce reliance on firewood and offers a cleaner alternative for rural households in Raire Village, Migori County in southwestern Kenya. This smoke-free device diminishes exposure to harmful smoke from traditional cooking sources, improving indoor air quality. According to the inventor, the oven, made from freely available materials in our village, reflects sunlight into a cooking chamber, reaching temperatures of 120 to 180 degrees Celsius. On clear days, it bakes cakes in 20 minutes or simmers stews in 2 to 3 hours.
On a very hot day, like of late it's been unusually hot, your cake will bake within 20 minutes. Yeah. And on ordinary days, maybe it will take like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And the beauty of it all is that your food never burns. It may slightly overcook, but it doesn't burn.
With firewood difficult to access, charcoal expensive, and electricity not a viable option, Olang views the solar oven as a beacon of hope.
Actually, I was using the charcoal and the firewood. Now, I became to realize that when we are using a lot of firewood, we are damage our trees, and then a drought will come. Now we have realized that we are not supposed to cut the trees around. Now, I'm using little firewood, but I'm using another method for solar cooker that is helping a lot. Before, I was using like 5,000 Kenya shillings for buying firewood and buying also charcoal. But this moment, since I got this one, now I'm using like 1,000.
There's no smoke. It doesn't release carbon dioxide, so it's safe. So people don't develop respiratory problems while using the solar oven. The only disadvantage the solar oven has is that you can't use it when it's cool, when the sun is not there, or when it's rainy. But because we are in sunny Africa, I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
Since then, Olang has trained hundreds of women in her village and facilitated a switch for about 300 out of 550 neighbors from non-renewable energy sources to solar ovens, significantly reducing environmental threats.
Startups are constantly emerging with innovative ideas, but the question remains, are they solving real problems or chasing trends? In my conversation with Itowo Idofia, a product designer at MyEdited, we look at how startups can identify and address real-world challenges and the importance of cultural context in product design. Itowo, startups are often described as solving problems, but let's start with a foundational question. How would you define a real-world problem, and why would you say it's important for startups to focus on addressing these rather than just, creating trendy products?
Yeah, well, okay, so let's get the definition of real-world problem. What is a real-world problem? A real-world problem is essentially a tangible issue that significantly impacts individuals, communities, industries, and they're called problems because they lack adequate solution, right? A real-world problem is essentially a problem that the everyday man faces, right? And it is often a subset of what we call a wicked problem. So a wicked problem is a complex social and cultural issue that is very difficult to solve. So for example, climate change, right? That is a wicked problem. It's vast, right? And so from that wicked problem, you can break it down into smaller bits to real world problems, and then startups you try to solve these problems, right? It is very important for them to solve real world problems because one, that's the only way your startup is sustainable, right? If you follow the trend, trends come and go, so your startup will ultimately come and go with the trend. Also, impact, that is the only way. When you're solving a real problem, that is the only way your startup will have a real impact on the lives of individuals and communities and the world at large. And then market validation. If your problem is, if you're not solving a real world problem, the chances that people would use your product is very slim.
So one agreeable reason startups fail is because they build something that people don't want, instead of building something that's like 10 times better than the alternative they're trying to switch them from. So in the course of trying to solve real-world problems, what steps can founders take to identify gaps in the market or real issues people face daily so they can actually provide adequate solutions to them?
Well, I think the most important way or the fastest way for any founder to identify gaps in the market or identify real world issues is based on personal experience. A few days ago, I bought prepaid lights, so I paid for it on my app, and they sent me the code, and then I tried to load up the code, and it didn't work. It just showed error, and I was frustrated. I was like, just like how I would buy a recharge card on my phone, on my app, on my banking app, right? And I'm immediately credited. Why is this electricity not just credited into my prepaid account? Why do I have to get a code and try to, there's that blocker, and that's something that is a problem that I'm facing. So that is a personal experience for me. So I can decide to take that up and say, I need to build something that would mitigate that issue, right? Again, personal experience, right? Now, it's one thing for you to have a problem, right, and solve your problem, but you will need to make sure that that problem, not just you, but many other people are going through that problem, and that's where you come in. That's where research comes in. You have to always research, right? Speak to people and say, oh, do you also have this problem, or do you have something similar to this problem? And with that, you can now bring all your research and insights together to formulate your idea and the basis for what you're doing.
Is it possible for startup founders to align providing solutions to problems with building scalable solutions that the investors want?
Yes, it is. It is very possible. It is very possible. So it is not the investors that so I'm trying to be careful how I say this, right? So the vision of a company is really the founders, is really for the founders. The investors, yes, believe in the dream and provide money, but investors naturally, I would not want. I think the ideal situation is not for an investor to dictate how the company goes, like the vision of the company, right? They are more advisors, right? So yes, it is possible. I mean, we have many companies in today who have great relationship with their investors. We have great investors who believe in founders, and they're doing really, really good.
So I see you've tried your best to break things down for our audience, but let's focus on you now. You've been described as a product designer making global impact in the tech industry, especially when it comes to product design, right? And I can say that that has probably given you a unique perspective on diverse markets like Nigeria. So tell me, how important is cultural context in designing solutions that resonate with the public?
Right. I have worked with several. I've worked with several organizations across the world, and at every point in time, there has been a shift in how I design. Right. So very early on in my career, I worked for a company in India, and I realized that the Indians, they like their design very compact. Right. So they would naturally fit a lot of things into one screen. Right. And it's very different from how the Americans do it. It's very different from how the people in the British, how they design, right? And it's not to say it's a bad thing. It is just their culture. So if you were to work for an Indian company, you would have, or design for an Indian company, you know that, okay, if this is the demographic of people, right? And so I would want to make my design compact. When I worked for a company in Germany, I would initially design in English and then translate my design to German. But the German text is longer than the English text. So it made my design a bit distorted, right? And so I had to learn to design right off the bat in German so that I can take into cognizance that the long string of the German language. And in the UK, where I currently work for a company in the UK, they're very accessibility focused. And so, they almost prioritize, I will say they more than not prioritize accessibility over UI. And then in Nigeria here, what I find is in Nigeria, we're really all about the UI, having beautiful UI overall. And, and then we just chip in a bit of UX here. Now, it is not to say any of this, how this design is done in any of these places is wrong. It is just the culture of that place. And so as a designer who wants to stay competitive in the global markets, right, you essentially have to be able to put yourself into this cultural context and deliver your best work.
Staying with you, Towo, but looking at things from a human-centered AI design perspective, AI is the buzzword now, and for someone that works with a platform that's AI-powered, I'm sure you can relate to that. And also the fact that AI can sometimes feel like a black box to users. So tell me, how do you approach designing products that make AI interactions, more transparent, accessible, and aligned with the needs of your diverse users? How do you take all of those elements into consideration so, people are not left out?
Well, it's not very different, right, from designing regularly the way I would design normally, right? And I would say AI is just a tool, right? I don't believe AI will steal anyone's job. I think AI is meant to enhance people's work, right? So say help them iterate faster, right? And so let me take this back to the fundamentals, right? When designing any product, right, you have to stick to the fundamentals, and AI is only meant to help you achieve these faster. Present AI processes in a decision in a very simple way, right? Ensure that your interface caters to users' needs, and then make sure that users are in control.
Well, Ito, one thing I'm taking from what you said is that, AI might not take people's jobs. And I, agree with that, because one thing a couple of, tech experts agree on is that we shouldn't be scared of AI taking over our jobs. But the fact that someone who knows how to use AI tools better than us just might be the one to take over our jobs. And I think that just means that we all need to skill up. It was such an enlightening interview with you, Ito Udofia, product designer at My Edited. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's where we leave it for this week on Tech Trends. Thank you for tuning in. You can always relive this and past editions of the program on the Channels TV 2 page. Don't forget to watch, share, and like your favorite episodes. Also remember, technology is not just about the future, it's about the here and now. And Africans are innovating to create impactful solutions for the continent. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Oshidende. I'll see you next time.